Hey, I'm Rin. Welcome to my channel. We're gonna be building Sushang today, so let's get started. Thank you for the comments, by the way, from my recent video. It's fun to hear from you guys, and it gives me great ideas for the channel. So, about our first 4-star on this channel, a young Cloud Knight trying to prove herself and become a legend, like those in the stories she's read as a child. She's cute, she's funny, she's best friends with Gwenaifen, and she's also an interesting build, that's for sure. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this, it's not the best build I've made, at least it doesn't fit the framework that I was going for. But after mulling it over for a while, I decided that this is gonna be as accurate as I get. So let's first set up what the groundwork is for building a character. So we need her race, class, ability scores, background feats, languages and proficiencies, and then we go to her magic and equipment, and we're gonna write an interesting story to fit her into the D&D world. I've also added a little companion for Sushang as well, so we'll get to that in due time. But anyway, this is all for fun and games, nothing too serious. We're just making some fun characters that you could use in a D&D game, for the sake of doing so. So let's move on then. Here's what I have for our dear Cloud Knight of the Luofu, Sushang. First off, we need a good pick for her in terms of race. At first I wanted to go with Elf because of their long life and lineage, but I decided that Elf is a bit too serious for a character like Sushang. We needed a race that is a bit more casual, but one that still is close enough to Elf, where it makes sense for her. So I decided to go with Half-Elf instead, specifically the Wood Elf descent. It's a little less intense and a bit more fun. Though they don't live as long as elves do, they still live much longer than an average human. Plus they get dark vision, which is always a good help in D&D. Additionally, as a Wood Elf descent, you get to pick a special ability for your character to have. And because of Sushang's story, I gave her elf weapon training as a trait passed down from her family. Which makes sense for her as a character to have because of the training she went through as a knight of the Shinjo, and her being Sushang after all. I also gave her an increase in her dexterity and strength because of the classes I gave her, those being 4 levels in fighter and 3 levels in ranger. And the ranger part is because of a very specific thing, nothing else. I'm sure anyone who has played a ranger before knows why I did this, and I am not ashamed of it. I have done it, and pets are cool, if you don't forget about them. I'm so sorry, Dimitri, I will never forget you again. But first things first, the fighter class comes with a bunch of fun abilities you can use. First off, I gave Sushang the great weapon fighting trait, so she can wield a great sword with ease, as she does in the game. Then I gave her champion as her martial archetype, only because the knight archetype falls under Unearthed Arcana, and Sushang doesn't ride around on a horse. Which is a shame, but fair, I guess. Anyway, let's move on to Ranger. Listen, I didn't really put much effort into this part, mainly because I just wanted one thing from it. I simply picked whatever was available and whatever I thought would be a fun reference to the Luofu storyline, even if it didn't really fit Sushang herself, such as making the undead Sushang's favorite enemy, because we fight the Marastruck a lot in the storyline, and they are pretty undead to me. I don't know what you think. For favorite terrain, I picked forest because big tree. And I gave her the dueling fighting style just in case you need to switch weapons at some point. So why did I put so much effort into all of this? 2 words, my friend, 2 words. Beastmaster. At level 3 of this build, you get a ranger companion, and I will not let Sushang not have her phoenix. I will not allow her to go without that chicken thing. Well, I gave her an eagle, but you can also just say it's a giant chicken if you'd like. Or an owl, I guess. Depends on how you want to build it, you can flavor it however you like. I jumped a bit there, but I needed to explain myself when it comes to this build. She needed her companion, and a giant chicken is always a nice addition to her kit. But let's move on to this. For ability scores, her highs should be her strength, then dexterity, and then I'll add her constitution, then her wisdom, then charisma, and lastly her dump set is her intelligence. You also get a +2 to her charisma because of her half-elf descendants, so just a reminder when you build her that her charisma is gonna be a little higher because of her lineage. For background though, I gave her City Watch. Since she's a young Cloud Knight, it made sense that I would give her this background. Someone who has experience in patrolling the Shinjo and who is willing to help people along the way. Additionally, I gave her the Resilient feat because of the many incidences where we've seen her being dragged into shenanigans with Gwenhyfen. She'd obviously grow to be very resilient because of it. I mean, she nearly died a few times in the past. I gave her the resilience in strength specifically, which also gives her proficiency in strength saving throws. Speaking of that, for languages, I gave her two specific ones that I felt fitting for someone like her. Specifically, Sylvan and Draconic. Sylvan because of how old the Shinjo natives are, and Draconic because of the Vidyadhara. There are also two additional languages that you could add because of her City Watch background and her favorite enemy, but those are for you guys to pick. I don't really know what other languages I could give her, and I'm not quite sure what to put in these slots, so it's up to you guys to choose what is best fitting for your campaign. Moving on though, for proficiencies, I picked Perception, Survival, and Animal Handling. Perception because I think Cloud Knights would be very vigilant when they're on duty, Survival because of the chaos Gwenhyfen has put her through, and Animal Handling because big chicken. I don't know what else to say. For magic, I simply picked whatever is useful for a ranger, because, yeah, you probably need them. Those being Hunter's Mark, of course. Any good ranger would have this on them at all times. Beastbond is useful for a Beastmaster Ranger, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with it as well. Finally, I added Animal Friendship as well, just in case you need it for Beastbond. Equipment-wise, I don't have much to say about it. I'm not sure what's allowed and not allowed at your table. I would advise you to give Sushang a greatsword though, just so you can use it in battle, and maybe some light armor. As a fighter though, she can wear heavier armor than leather or studded leather, but Sushang hasn't been shown wearing any heavy armor, so I don't want to give her something that is inaccurate to her character. Anyway, moving on from all of that, let's write up a little story for her. Something that would be fitting for her character. Whatever works, I hope you enjoy. She had always wanted to be a knight. Since she was little, she had dreamt of the day she could take up arms like those heroes in the stories her parents used to tell her. The brave human smith who forged powerful weapons that could cut through steel with one strike. Or the dragonborn prince who could control the tides with a flick of his wrist. She wanted to be like them. She wanted to be as good and brave and beloved as they were in those stories. She didn't have much to her name. She wasn't born into a grand rich family or came from a lineage known for their strength and valor. But she was a determined child, someone who did not take kindly to pity or disdain. Her dreams were not something she would allow to be sullied by cruel remarks or sour looks from those who thought her foolish to take up a sword. It only took a few years of stubborn determination for her to make it through the ranks of the kingdom's knights. It took even less time for her to make a name for herself, not for good reasons most of the time though. Her clumsier nature did cause a few stares to come her way, but they still respected her tenacity and enthusiasm as a bright spark amongst their ranks. Before she knew it, she found herself moved to the great city as a patrol for the streets. She hasn't yet made it to where she wishes to be. She knows she'll climb her way up the ranks one day though. One day she'll be remembered as a hero like those in legends. One day she'll be standing side by side with those heroes that had inspired her when she was a little girl. Maybe not yet, but time will come for her too. Those great heroes. Someday soon, she'll be just like them. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this story. I do feel like a lot of changes could still be done to this build, especially the ranger part of her, but I felt like it was necessary to give her an animal companion at the end of the day. I do wonder if there was a better build for her than Beastmaster Ranger, maybe Druid, but that wouldn't fit Sushang's character. It would make less sense than Beastmaster Ranger. No use in regretting it now. What's done is done, and I hope you enjoyed the build at the end of the day. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you like, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.